the day-to-day paycheck, you can get those people for just equity. You know, there's plenty of them out there.
You mentioned earlier that you started the M&A process in 2002.
Something like that, yeah.
So what made you want to start the process?
This is another really great, great discussion topic. My partner and I were not really that smart about setting up our partnership correctly. Buy-sell agreements, that sort of thing. And it was pretty clear, and even the decision-making process within the company was not crystal clear. Okay? So this means that in situations where he and I agreed, there was no problem. In situations where he and I disagreed, you have a 50-50 partnership in a company where one partner disagrees with the other, and there's no tiebreaker, no mechanism for tie breaking. You start to create, really difficult dynamics in the company. So really, and the company was very valuable, so neither one of us was going to leave. So really, the only way for us, it was pretty strange, but the only way to clean up the ownership structure of the company was to sell the company. Kind of bizarre, until and unless we had a third party come in, and it could have been a minority investor too. That could have worked fine as well. So having a third party come in and take an ownership stake and clean up the ownership structure, decision-making structure, the exit structure, if there were one, was kind of necessary for us to grow the company to the next level. We had no choice. So, and that was one of the driving reasons. I saw it pretty clearly that it was going to end badly unless we figure out a way to get a third party in there. So it worked, and that's kind of exactly what happened. We cleaned up the organizational structure. My partner left 18 months ago, but there was a clear, obvious mechanism for him to leave. It worked out for him, it worked out for me, it's worked out for ST. Now the company has more of a unity of command and a little easier decision making. So for me, that was probably one of the. Also, we were in a good space. We were a unique company, and again, like I said when I first started, if there's a good deal out there, take it. And if it works out great, fine. If it's still a good deal and it doesn't work out, well, you can always try it again. You can always build another company, which is tough, but good deals don't come along that often. Somebody in 1987 was looking to sell a house in Boston. Okay, well, put it this way: 1986, somebody looking to sell a house in Boston. If they sold the house in 1986, by 1989 they're pretty happy about. Even right now, you look at the real estate crash right now. If you had a house 2 or 3 years ago and you sold it, you're quite happy compared to it today. So don't be greedy. Don't squeeze the last cent out. If there's unambiguously good deal in front of you, take it.
But perhaps it's a good time at this juncture to sort of switch gears on the main transmission and have Chilong maybe introduce Ping, and then we can have
All right.
another voice and give you a little bit of a
It's going so well, we just continue with the end.
Okay, this is the other gentleman. The commonality between the two speakers is ST. He was from ST for some time, so I'll leave him to tell you what he's doing in ST. But I thought it would be interesting to get him to at least come in and present the Singapore side of things after hearing from the US side, because he's also involved in this entrepreneurship, incubating companies, etc. And now he's trying to look for investors into his products.
You need to look for investors.
Okay.
I used to have $20 million to invest here from ST. That's what Project gave me, but I didn't invest it very well. So. Anyway, we were talking, and this firm was acquired by part of ST Electronics. I was the vice president. I was developing another company called Wilcom, and I rejected it. Later on, they bought it, they become his boss. Okay, never mind. So I left ST in 2002, and then I started a couple of companies. The latest one, unlike you, I don't believe in bootstrap. So day one I raised 5 million. And 3 years later, somebody want to give us fine, it's a fine, take it. And I still haven't have a product, okay? Well, I'm in the biomedical business, so it will take a long time to come. Probably another, maybe next year we have. Okay. So, but I'm lucky in my don't fly business for the same reason. Even though I fly, right? I think there's another question about how you find people. I pay my staff very well, much better than higher than market. And in Singapore, you have to do that because you want to get a good people. You pay higher than market rate. If not, they work for MNCs. Why should they work for a startup? There's no job security. There's nothing. So I do the reverse way. So I get a good price. Very loyal. From the day one I start to now, they're still with me. Although the job market is moving up. What else do we say? Yeah, I'm supposed to answer questions, right? Yeah. I think Marlene is supposed to answer the question, but she what? Where she?
Arlene is here.
Yeah, okay. She's from ST, right? So officially she cannot speak. Oh, because whatever she speaks tomorrow is them. The stock market is moving. ST, so ex-ST, so I can speak. So, but before that, we'll promote something from Spring, right? We don't have a SBIR here, but we do have generous funding from Spring based on the technology enterprise commercialization scheme, so that we $200,000 more proof of value and $500,000, no, $200,000 for proof of concept, $500,000 for proof of value. Okay, I done my part, right? Promote Spring. Okay. Now back to the question. Now, interestingly, when you get acquired, right, and how do you see any synergistic part of it? I mean, do the sales grow or not? I mean, you cash out. I remember you cash out. Where's the synergistic part?
Yeah, the thesis of this acquisition, ST was a customer of mine. I've been working with ST since the mid-90s. A good 10 or 12 years before the acquisition, they had started buying my product. So they knew us very well, and we were in their value chain. So we were a vendor to they were an integrator, we were a supplier of commercial products to the integrator. The general manager of STT&S was looking to broaden his business in both directions. In application areas, he's mostly defense, but he wanted to go into movies and video games and other things, and also in depth. Because at that time, they were mostly just an integrator, and they wanted to deepen their value chain and acquire a commercial product vendor. And that's what we were. And the argument was that as time goes on, military is a little bit funny because for military contracts, a large percentage of the contract, at least in the past, was custom software development. So the companies that grew up as system integrators that had big staffs of software developers that would make these big systems for their customers. As time went on, the commercial off-the-shelf products they could buy as their starting point kept getting more and more and more sophisticated. And it started squeezing down the amount of value add that an integrator could possibly provide. And it was pretty clear that in the long run, and the long run hasn't happened yet, but in the long run, call it 5 or 10 years from now, the role of system integrator is going to be to buy a bunch of commercial off-the-shelf products, have somebody hook them together with some configuration management software, have some subject matter experts using pull-down menus, configure the products for their custom use. And there's not going to be very much software development at the system integrator level, because the commercial products are going to be, more and more will fall into the commercial products. So ST wanted to protect their entire value chain and not be obsoleted and squeezed down to small subject matter experts at the top. So that was the premise behind the acquisition. And to this day, it's taken a longer period of time to come true, but it is coming true. And in my opinion, from my perspective, the parent company has more comfort now in giving some of their contract work to Mach instead of keeping it in-house, because some of the work they give us, winds up getting immediately incorporated into our commercial products, which we sell to